Hey guys, welcome to the CarveCast, episode 27. I'm here with Malin, and Malin is from, I'm going to say MOXIS now, but I know it's not MOXIS, that's the product name, I think. So we'll cover that off as part of the podcast that we're going to do. On my social media recently, I've been talking a lot about the insoles that I had fitted by Tim in Ulen Sport in Zermatt. And Malin is from the company that invented and produces all of the equipment and the materials that are necessary to make that insole for your ski boots or ski liners. So today is really just to kind of go through and give Malin like a really good interview, essentially, to tell us as much information as possible so we can all learn from the knowledge and experience that she has. So if you would introduce yourself in a better way than I did, that would be great.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam.
Very welcome.
So my name is Malin, and I'm currently the CEO of MOXIS. And MOXIS actually is the product name, and it's also the name of our company.
Oh, okay.
But the history started way before. So MOXIS is invented by Orthopodo, which is our family business. And we transformed the data and the medical knowledge we have gathered in the last 35 years into MOXIS. So you have to imagine my father, he founded Orthopodo 35 years ago. And in Orthopodo, we treat medical patients. So we have 6 locations across Switzerland. And we are a leading company in orthopedic shoe technique, in rehabilitation techniques, in basically we do everything about human mobility. So people who want to get better in their marathon are coming to us, but also people who can't leave their beds without a wheelchair. So we treat lots of foot pains, we do medical insoles, we do customized shoes. So we do everything to keep our patients mobile and improve mobility.
So before this actual product came around, what would... Oh, I'm setting up a laptop and it's just started talking to me. Sorry. So yeah, before the actual, the 3D printed insoles came around with MOXIS, what would like a sort of typical week in like your father's business look like? Like what would be like the bulk of what he would be doing in terms of work or the business as a whole? Like what was the general idea of what they would be doing?
So we treat medical patients, and Orthopodo still does. We have over 35,000 clients that we treat each year, and the process of how we do insoles and how the customer journey is changed. So what we really did is a business model innovation and a product innovation. So the idea of MOXIS actually came up in 2018. So you have to imagine here, to our orthopedic company, only people come who already have pain. And actually lots of people benefit from insoles, even though you don't have pain already, or you can boost your performance, your comfort, your everyday life, your work life. And we asked ourselves, why are people not buying the insoles? And basically it is the case that in Switzerland, and I know in many European countries, the customer journey for orthopedic insoles, it's very unattractive. You have to get a prescription from your doctor, you have to go to the orthopedic company 3 times. It's very expensive, and also it's not reproducible. So if you want a second pair, you have to go again. And at the same time, for the people who are working in the insole manufacturing, it's very dusty, it's very loud, and it's very, how should I say, like human-based. So what we did, we transformed the production process from CNC milling. So we had actually a block of material where we would carve out the insoles and then finish it by hand. And we transformed it to 3D printing. So what we are doing with MOXIS is we are de-dusting insoles, like in an actual way, where we don't have like dust and noise and anything with the 3D printer, but also like in a metaphorical way. So we make insoles more attractive. That's how we work with the brand MOXIS, and we work with our colors and just with the whole experience you get in the sports shop.
So how did who came up with like the actual idea of 3D printing? Because I presume that your dad is not like your age, obviously. And obviously, like 3D printing, you would kind of typically associate with younger people.
Yes.
How did the connection happen between creating the insoles in the old way, like you say, with, CNC machine and manually filing and grinding and all those kinds of things, to
Yeah.
actually the idea of using a 3D printer?
So actually, my father is very visionary, and the words 3D printing have been around for a while, but no one really did it in 2018. And we were just exploring lots of 3D printing technologies, or he was. And then we bought our first 3D printer end of 2019. The insoles, they took 18 hours to print for one pair, but he saw them and put it in his shoe, and he said, "This is the best insole I have ever had." And it's
Wow.
very untypical for orthopedic people, maybe because usually they love, they honor the craftsmanship so much. And now we have a different story of 3D printing. So what he did was he gathered the best team there is to transform our manufacturing process, but also to transform this product into a lifestyle product. So in the MOXIS team, we are very diverse. So we have 3D printing experts, we have movement scientists, we have orthopedic surgeons, we have medical informatics people, we have biomedical engineers. So we built a team that has very specific know-how, and my dad himself is a leading expert in insole design and just in treating medical issues with shoes and insoles in Switzerland. So we built this team and added some business people like me, actually. I studied business innovation at University of St. Gallen, and I came into our family business actually to build MOXIS and to transform this industry. So we really want to rewrite foot health, and we want to change the way that people buy insoles, and just to create the ultimate foot experience for everyone in store and then in the shoe every day. So
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds like too much incredible expertise just so we can have a nice experience skiing.
yeah, and actually our passion is feet. So
Yeah.
so we really care about feet, and it's in our DNA that we want to help people, and that we also have really high standards. So everything is Swiss made, it's premium quality, and my team, they go the extra mile to have to give people the best experience, and that we can be proud of when we go into a sport shops and everyone says, "Wow, it's the best feeling ever." So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, I'm looking at this obviously from a ski perspective mostly, but what at what point did you start to sort of realize that skiing could be a reasonable amount of your revenue, or was that something that was actually an aim early on?
Yeah, so what is really good about skiing is that it's normal that every ski boot is sold with an insole.
Yeah.
So it's really a nice way of promoting MOXIS as well, because unfortunately our feet are not taken care of so well as, for example, our teeth. So for our teeth, we use toothpaste every day, we go to the dentist, we wear the braces. But for our feet, that actually carry us through our whole life and are a fundamental part of our life quality, we just kind of forget them. Maybe because they're so far away from our face, I don't know. But we actually want that people, have more attention for their feet. And so we're starting with we use MOXIS not only for ski boots. I mean, you have lots of people who use it in their everyday shoe, in their work shoe, golf, tennis, ice hockey. So you can put MOXIS in every shoe, basically. And our goal is to, yeah, first of all, to, yeah, strengthen the awareness for our feet, and then that people actually get to know how their feet could be feeling.
Yeah, because before I ever started skiing, I never knew about insoles as something that didn't come with a shoe. If someone said to me about insoles, I would presume that they meant, the little bit of foam that comes inside your shoe. But since sort of going on this sort of ski journey and learning about insoles and learning a little bit more about how it helps support your foot and can improve your posture, which therefore obviously can improve your joints and your overall health and everything else, um, I had no idea that there was even an insole business in the world, but actually it's quite a big business, isn't it? Like there's lots of brands that sell these insoles that are custom made. And obviously MOXIS has taken a completely different approach to other people. But now that I know, I actually well, first of all, what happened was I got some new insoles for my ski boots, and because the ones I had were not great, and then I put my old ones in my regular trainers, my sneakers, and then I started to realize how nice it was to have that level of like support in my normal everyday shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't wear any shoes, and I have a big collection of shoes because I like trainers. But I don't ever put a pair of shoes on now without putting my insoles in. And I even sent my wife and my daughter to have them done by an orthopedic expert, and they did them in the old fashioned, well, I say old fashioned, the
Yeah.
more typical way of making them, like the foam insole, and they carve it and they make it and do all that stuff. So now my whole family wear insoles, and we never even knew what they were 2 or 3 years ago. And
Yeah.
it definitely has like a huge benefit on your day to day. I don't know how you would explain it, but it feels nicer.
Yeah, it gives your foot the support, and it's about comfort, it's about stability, but it's also about prevention. So maybe you don't have any pain now, even in my friends and everyone, actually insoles, it is kind of associated with something negative. Oh no, I don't need insoles. I don't have a problem, right? But now, when I talk to people and they're like, yeah, well, it makes absolute sense. And when they feel it in their feet, I mean, our goal is everyone gets older, everyone wants to stay more active. I mean, we have patients who are 83, and you ask them, what is your problem? And they tell us, well, I have pain in my shoulder when I play tennis. And you're like, okay, yeah, you're 83. So, I mean, people want to stay active. And with MOXIS, we give them a preventive product that they can use. So we can still go hiking when we are 80 and not only until 70. So, yeah.
So if you had to list off, not necessarily in any order, but just give a list of, in a sort of basic way, of what you would say are the benefits of the MOXIS product specifically over something, I don't know, like a CDAS or one of the other typical kind of things that people have, how would you break that down?
So first of all, the most important thing is that we have the whole Orthopodo, the medical part, in our background. So we really know how we have to design insoles for specific feet. So we have gathered the data from the last 35 years and the experience, and we put it into our software. And the difference is that we make a 3D scan and a dynamic analysis, like a gait analysis, and we really look into your biomechanics. So it's really important for us to understand your foot and your movement. And it is to make that the insole has to support you in the right moment at the right place. And this is very important to us also, that it's not giving you like a wrong feeling, or with MOXIS we have the opportunity to multiply your insole. So if you get measured once for your ski boot, you can reorder it for your tennis shoe, for your work shoe. So first of all, dynamic analysis and the orthopedic engineering, that is really, really important. And everything is science-backed, and it is walk the talk is our most sacred value. So we have this no bullshit policy where we don't sell something we don't do, and we don't want to promise something we can't hold. So this is really also from my science team and from the background that we have. Then second of all, with MOXIS, it is independent of the people who measures you. So for example, with thermal insoles, it depends on the people who do it, right? If you have an experienced person, your insoles are great, but if you have someone who is new, it's maybe not so great. So with MOXIS, we have a process that is very standardized and that everyone can learn in a few minutes. And so we are sure that all the MOXIS have consistent quality. And it doesn't depend if you get measured in Zermatt or if you get measured in Zurich or in Davos, it will always be the same result. What is also very important is the 3D printing. So we are really precise with the 3D printing. It's a really cool effect in the shop as well. People are taking videos and it's like the aquarium. So for us, it's really about the experience itself. So we want people to learn something about themselves. We have a foot report that they can have a look at in their email, and that they also learn something about their feet. Then everything is done within 1 hour. It is part of the experience, not only for the customer, but also for the people who work in the sports shops. And yeah, last but not least, everything is Swiss made. It's very important for us to have this premium quality product. We really care about the support, so we are really are in the back if you have an issue with your MOXIS. So we will look at your data, we can help you also for our sports shops. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's quickly talk about the actual process itself, just briefly. So I'll let you explain it. I went through the process recently, obviously, to get mine. But if you just explain, like, quite briefly what the actual process is. If you go into a shop, let's not even relate it to skiing. Like, you go into any athletic type shop and you say, I want some insoles for my shoes or my boots or whatever, or they recommend it. At that point, when you both agree that actually the correct thing to do is to get a MOXIS, what is the process from that point for the customer and the person who is creating it for them?
So in the sports shops, we have a 3D scanner, a pressure measurement
Device.
device, a 3D printer, and our software. So the first step is you have to take off your shoes and step into the 3D scanner. So we take an exact measurement of your foot and we need it to do your custom insoles. Then the second part is your gait analysis. So then we have this pressure measurement device where you step over and you walk over, and we need 5 steps from each side. So this is the dynamic part. The most important part for your MOXIS is your foot. And left and right are not the same. That's why it's always different. And the second part is the area of application. So you then tell us, well, do you need your MOXIS for sports? What sport exactly do you need it? There's a different kind of design for ski than there is for running, for example, or for cycling. It can also be every day or work, of course. Then the part that we also look at is your hind foot and your leg axis. It's a very important part also when you buy a shoe. And in the end, we have a look at your shoe. So MOXIS, they come out of the 3D printer and you don't have to cut something or you have to, just, how should I say, to adapt anything. It's really ready. So you take it out of the 3D printer and it should fit into your shoe perfectly. So you can also adapt the thickness of the insole. We have 2 different materials, and then it's ready for printing. So after the printing, we take it out. You can choose if you want to have like a soft cover or not, and then we put it into your shoe.
Yeah, and it really is like that easy, because you basically stand on a machine, the machine scans your foot. Do you know what technology it uses to do that?
It's a laser scanner.
Oh, okay. So it uses a laser scanner. So that obviously gets the shape and size and everything of your foot. And then you walk over a platform and that measures like the different pressure points on your foot, I guess, as you actually sort of progress your foot across it. And then off of the back of that, it goes off onto your, does it get uploaded onto your servers and then you have like some sort of algorithm AI that does it and then
Yes.
comes back down, or does that happen locally on their
Yes.
machine?
So what happens in the background? This is the whole magic. So first of all, when you are measuring your foot and your gait, you always see live the results. So you can see your foot even with the veins and everything in real detail. We can
Yeah.
turn it. We tell you, oh, what type of toes do you have? What is your foot length? What is your arch type? And then when you're walking over the pressure plate, you see the pressure with the different colors live. So it's really an experience also for people who are watching. And we really want to show you that there is a medical and scientific way that we're doing it. So in the background, then we take your analysis, like we gather over 200 parameters from the pressure, yes, from the pressure measurement, and we actually compare it to norm feet. So this is how our algorithm is made, and then your custom insole is designed up to the cheat code, which you can just download and then put on the printer. So this is the
Yeah,
whole
it's
magic. It sounds very easy now, but it's highly complex. So we have developed it over the past 4 years, and we worked with top universities to do it, and with top scientists, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've owned an IT company for it's 37 years old now. So and I've done IT like my whole life, like computer stuff, developing and programming and major like system implementation. So that bit to me is quite interesting about how it actually works from that perspective. But what I find really interesting about this product is, in a way, the what you've just said is almost a little bit back to front, because normally in the world that we live in, if something is taken away from being handmade, we would typically say that that is like a degraded quality product. Especially if it's handed over to a machine, and even more so AI, that's like a no-no. You know, if all of a sudden like my watch was not made in Switzerland by some person
Yeah.
and it was handed over to some machine, normally that would degrade the quality of that item. But the most important part to me, personally, with this is actually that, which is quite a unique situation. And it goes back to what you said earlier, which is the quality of your insole, which is very, very important in lots of different scenarios. Skiing, like, very important because you're clamped into this really tight environment and you notice everything way more than you would even in a running shoe. So the most important thing is that the you're actually taking the expertise away from a person and putting it onto a computer, which sounds odd, but the it is actually incredible because it does mean that you get a quality item every single time. Because one, I actually made a video about it today, funnily enough, is about how difficult it is to find a true expert in this particular field of this particular industry. And what this does is it takes that worry, that concern, even that decision away, and leaves it to something that actually, for once, does a better job, because this is not an opinion thing. It's
Yeah, it's
factual.
not guesswork.
No. And we know that actually, when it comes to that, computers do it better, providing obviously the software is written correctly and well enough.
Yeah, and also what is the big advantage? So I mean, we can give the expertise and the know-how that we have here to every sport shops, to every location. So it's a huge game changer also for our sport shops, because they have this know-how that we have built and they can use it. And also maybe in terms of machines and technology, So we had a huge cultural change here also at Orthopodo, because in the
Yeah.
beginning everyone was skeptical and it wasn't as perfect as it is now. So we have perfected everything in Orthopodo. We have over 50,000 insoles that are walking around here somewhere that are 3D printed. And we could give this to MOXIS. So everything that goes to MOXIS is like proved in Orthopodo and in a medical way. And so it has really like a lot of advantages. And we don't say the craftsmanship, like we don't, how should I say, it's still important for us. So we have invented this term, it's called CraftTech. So it's the fusion of craftsmanship and high tech. So we honor where we come from. It is tradition that we have refined, right? But we also want to use high tech like 3D printing and AI. And we just take both worlds, as we also do in science and branding, and we make a really cool product.
And in the medical side of what your company has like historically done, I presume, like, say, for example, someone has, I don't know, a hip problem, a knee problem, or maybe they've had an accident and they're having rehabilitation, and then they would come to your organization and you would make them an insole that would help them along that journey. When you changed that to 3D printing, did that have to get authorized by some kind of like, you know, like the FDA in America?
Yeah.
Did you have to go through some kind of process to allow that to be an accepted way of now creating that for people?
Yeah, I mean, we have the medical device regulation here in Switzerland, and Orthopodo is certified by the STS. So we have ISO 9001, which is the management certification, and we also have 13485, which is the medical device. And they come every year, they check our processes, they look at our manufacturing, at the safety, and they are fascinated. So yeah, it's I mean, it's not, they don't see it very often, but the guy who was here the last time, he was thrilled, and yeah, he was yeah, it's also something new for them. So yeah, we have all the processes, and it's actually basically it's kind of the same procedure as for CNC milling. It's just a different way to do it from a process side, but from a technological side and a know-how side, it's really different. So we hired totally different people than we had before for CNC milling, because 3D printing looks so easy, but it's actually not as easy as it looks.
No. And what's important, I think, about that is that it, because you know, you are using it for that kind of process as well, that kind of situation, it really tells people that, you know, this is not just necessarily like a commercial opinion that this is a good product. It's been proven even in, you know, those kinds of situations to be equally as good, if not superior, to the previous way of making them. And I think it's actually ingenious, because instead of having the expertise in the manufacturing part, where people are not necessarily as skilled as you may want them to be in every single situation, because there are a lot of skilled people for sure, regardless. You've got all of the experts that you can choose yourself to know their skills, bring them in-house, and then allow that to be created by a machine, obviously outside. So it's like the skill has just been moved from one place to another where it's more reliable.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can have the best product in the world if no one sees it. It doesn't matter. So it's really also the fusion of technology, design, and medicine, and to make it pretty. And I think we have worked a lot in silence in the past 4 years, and we did a pilot phase with 2 sport shops that was from summer 2024 to this summer, and now we have our rollout. And it's really cool if you can see the product and the process, only just the software in the store, and to see it live on Instagram. So it makes a huge difference. in how it is perceived. So yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I found amazing was because when Tim originally asked me, I thought, oh, well, I'll just do it as a favor for Tim because he's a nice guy and I like him. And I didn't really think too much about the actual product itself. I just was doing him a favor.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, once I actually started using it, um, the thing that I noticed most of all is that I can't feel it, which almost sounds like, right, you're paying this money for a thing that you can't feel. But actually, the more you understand that sentence, the better it is, because even recently, like this is just like one of my old sets here. When I actually switched boots and I didn't change my MOXIS over to my new boot. So I was using, it wasn't actually these ones, it was another set. But what I noticed was immediately that like on the arch here and somewhere around the front of the heel, it wasn't painful, but I had like slight pressure point. And towards the end of the day, I could feel it more than I could in the morning. So even though these are handcrafted and the ones that I'm talking about, they were made by someone who's particularly good at it as well. Even then, even with multiple modifications, I still had these tiny little pressure points that they wouldn't necessarily degrade your day or ruin anything or even make you particularly hurt or uncomfortable. But with my MOXIS ones, I promise you, I'm not just saying this, I can't feel them. It's like they're not there.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to explain because I've never felt that feeling before of not being able to feel it. Normally you can feel something, but you literally can't feel them. It's almost like you've stood on a really firm memory foam mattress and there's not, you know, because the whole thing is touching you perfectly, there's no points, but yet at the same time it's really firm and supportive, but you can't feel it. It's the strangest feeling. The only way I can explain it is that I can't feel it.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's perfect. And also, you know, like the medial arch here, we align it perfectly with your foot that we see from the 3D scan and the gait analysis. And also, this insole, it's very flexible, but also very stable. So yeah, it's best of both worlds. That's why my father said, well, it's the best insole I've ever worn, even though it wasn't far from perfect back then.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's so hard to explain why it's good, and the only explanation I can tell you is that you just don't feel that it's there. But what's also quite interesting is when you look at them side by side, compared to one that has been made, and in fact multiple that have been made, they're quite different. They're not, you know, yes, you could say there's an arch and there's a dent in the heel. Like there are similarities, obviously, because that's the shape of a foot, but they're actually really quite different. Like if I pick out like 3 or 4 of these insoles that I've had made during doing like the thermal process, and then I compare that to the shape of my MOXIS, they're not, all of the ones that have been made look similar, but the MOXIS is different.
Yeah, we can do dynamics, yeah.
Yeah, and it just shows that it is not just a different way of making the same shape.
Yeah.
It's actually a completely different insole, which I found quite interesting. And what is also quite interesting as well is that when you look at these and you feel these traditional insoles, the flexibility on the MOXIS is more. They're more flexible, but they're also more stronger, which is again like almost like counterintuitive. It sort of doesn't make sense, but it just is. And I don't know if it would improve my performance if I was like a racer, for example, but for me as a recreational skier, and actually now I want them in my normal shoes as well, but for me as like a recreational skier, I actually get more performance because I have no discomfort. So even though if I was to like race down a slope, I'm probably not going to get there faster because I've got MOXIS in my shoes, in my boots. But at the end of the day, I would probably feel less fatigued, less tired, more comfortable, less uncomfortable, and therefore, essentially, that kind of would improve my performance
Yeah,
in
it's
the later
perfect for
stages
a
of the
ski
day.
bummer. So
Yeah. So to me, as someone who is on first lift, doesn't stop for lunch and gets
yeah,
kicked off the slope at the end of the day, it actually does make a bigger difference. And it sounds a bit over the top, but actually it is just true. And that's exactly what I've found, which as I found it actually quite a fascinating process because I'm a technical person. I've got loads of 3D printers in my house. All my skis are on the wall and they're
nice.
all mount. People message me all the time and say, "How did you mount the skis?" But it's because I made them and I 3D printed them and I put them up. So technology and everything and
Yeah,
3D printing is quite interesting to me. So the ability that we've been able to somehow make these into something that's created by 3D printing and artificial intelligence and actually get a better product, it's not a gimmick. I
yeah.
think it's incredible.
Thank
Like
you. It's great to
absolutely
hear.
incredible. Yeah.
And talking about being faster, um, we have equipped some of the most famous hockey players in Switzerland. So they play for HC Davos and also for the Swiss national team. And it was one guy who started with MOXIS. It's Simon Knack. He's also our brand ambassador. But he just started one day and suddenly he was faster on the ice. And his
Wow.
teammates were like, "What have you done?" Um, and he couldn't believe it himself. And it was like a fire. So almost whole Hatsidavos now has the Insoles. They are on the top of the leaderboard. We don't know if it's a coincidence or not. Um, but we really feel a difference. Also, they're like pain free. We have lots of ice hockey goalies now, and I love it. And maybe also to point it out, like in a professional athlete world, you have the possibility to find your perfect MOXIS. So with 3D printing, you can change one parameter and still have exactly the same insole. So you can tell us, well, I want to have it like 3 millimeters higher here in the back at the heel. And they try it and they tell us, well, make it 2 millimeters, make it 1.5, I don't know, until like they find their perfect fit. And I mean, it's a really nice part that we can also give professional athletes, and they love it. And when they have found their perfect MOXIS, they reorder and reorder and reorder. So yeah, it's another advantage that we have with 3D printing.
So if someone goes into a store and they have their MOXIS made in store and then they go home, like me, for example, I've come to another country and I want to get another one, for my shoe or for another ski boot. I don't know. I
Yeah.
want another one. Can you go on your website and just log in and order one, or do you have to go back to where you originally got it from, or how does that work?
No, we have a reorder form. So you just tell us what kind of shoe you want to use it in and what is your area of application. So for example, if you have it for your ski boots and you want to have it for your everyday shoe, you tell us, well, I have a Hoka, I don't know what kind of shoe. And then we recalculate it for the specific shoe and area of application. And we print it and we can send it to your home.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Is that anywhere in the world?
Well, no, actually not. So, I mean, once you have been measured, you can just reorder and we can really, adapt it to every shoe that you need. So, no, it's really a big advantage. And it's something that we have just launched a few months ago.
But you can have that delivered to any country, or is it
Yeah,
limited? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
sure.
that's amazing. And then, like, moving forward as a company, obviously there's certain things you probably can't tell us, but is there anything you can say that you're looking at in terms of like future innovation or future ideas? Where are you gonna, because obviously you can't just stop, you're gonna need to keep moving forward. What is there anything you can say that you're looking at in terms of moving forward from
Yeah,
here?
so we still have lots of ideas, of course. Also, to always, getting better and getting better at the software. I just had a call with a sports shop this week, and he was like, "What do you want to improve? It's perfect already." And my team and I, we have really high standards, and we still have lots of ideas that we want to implement. And also in terms of rollout, of course. So now we have lots of requests from sport shops from whole Europe, actually, from Switzerland. We are looking into our international expansion, but always keeping our Swiss soul and taking one step at a time. We also have lots in mind for our brand. So it's a really important part for us to kind of establish a MOXIS lifestyle. We also establish MOXIS as the product name, especially because the word Insoles in German, it's kind of ugly. So
Why? What is it?
Einlage.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a long one.
And so we always talk about MOXIS as a product. And I mean, there is lots of potential also to work with brand ambassadors. We are also going into this topic of workforce. So we have lots of people who work in restaurants, in hospitals, in construction that can benefit from Insoles. It's just not established that well. So we're on a journey to rewrite foot health and to get all the feet what they deserve.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. I think it's incredible. I really do. I just think it's incredible. When you think about like the industry that your father was in, is probably not a very forward-thinking industry. And so to have all of a sudden come up with this whole idea of just using 3D printers and AI and software and all that stuff, I think it's absolutely incredible. And the best part about it is, because a lot of people go down these journeys, but what they don't end up with the end of it is a product that is superior to that came before.
Yeah.
But this is definitely is in the short experience that I've had with it. And I'm really excited to hear like other people's stories, like the more people that start trying to do it, because I've already had a minimum of like 5 to 10 people message me and say, "Oh, we've had ours done, like thank you so much." Yeah, like, so I'm excited to hear over the coming season and months as to how their experience is. But one last question I've got for you is, how often should you have your feet re-scanned, or do your feet just stay the same forever?
No, of course not. And as we are not in a medical field, we advise people to get scanned every 2 years, that they redo the process. Also, the MOXIS are very durable. It's not only very sustainable actually in the making, so we have almost no waste, but they also last for a really long time as they are flexible and like strong. You can't almost kill them. So we have one triathlete and he ran over 5,500 kilometers with these insoles and they still look good. So let's get remeasured every 2 years. It's also a good way for the sport shops that the people come by and have a touch point.
Yeah. And another good thing as well is that it's something that adds interest in all of these industries, because when you think about footwear, even in the trainers and sneaker market, really they haven't really changed ever. Since Nike added air into the sole and a couple of other things, there's no real like innovation that's happening in that market. And it's been the same with ski boots. That's why I like BOA, because I think at least it gives a bigger commercial interest and more money for the shops that are trying to survive. And this is another thing like that. This is something where people are going to be like, oh, that's so different, like I want that. So it's good commercially as well for all of these businesses to be able to have something that's going to like draw people in, have new revenue avenues. And the whole thing is just really quite exciting, considering it's something that you just chuck in the bottom of your shoe.
Yeah, you can't see it. And it's something we're working on actually. So it's a good thing you can see it because no one knows you need insoles, right? But now it's
No.
a bad thing because you can see it, and you know we even have the pink color now, and it's so popular also with men actually. And everyone tells us, no, I really want the pink one, and I mean in the end you don't see it, but it's still important. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So now we've just got to try and educate everybody that they will benefit from having an insole in their
Yeah.
shoe, whether they're skiers or not. I always tell people, I always say, oh, wait till you put an insole in your shoe. Like instead of only using your insole for skiing, like when you get home, take the insole out of your boot, put it in your shoes and see how much nicer everything becomes walking, running, just standing around all day. You know, even when if you're standing in a queue, a long queue, for example, maybe you're at a theme park, you get foot fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, and people, that's why people are like, they're moving from one foot to another. But what you really notice when you have a proper insole in your shoes is that stuff just goes away. Like it
Yeah.
completely changes everything. And it sounds like such a small thing, but it's actually quite a big deal.
Yeah,
And
it's
in fact, when my grandparents were in the war, and my granddad always used to look after his feet like you've never seen anyone look after their feet. He used to literally sit there and not clean them and cut his neck, you know, like religiously, like very, very often he would look after his feet. And he always used to tell me that when they were in the trenches and they were in these like bad situations, the one thing that always suffered more than anything else was their feet. And
yeah.
their superiors would always tell them, look after your feet, look after your feet, look after your feet. So I
Yeah.
actually got brought up with someone telling me all the time, like, look after your feet. So it's quite nice to find a way to do that doesn't involve sitting in a chair and getting a pedicure.
Yeah.
As nice as that is.
Yeah, they're the foundation of our life. So
Yeah, I know, but totally forgotten because, like you say, you just don't see them. You put a sock on, put them in a shoe, and you forget about them. But yeah, for anyone who's listening, definitely go to the MOXIS website and have a look because it's actually a lot more interesting than you might imagine. You know, the fact that you can just scan a foot and then create this thing that gives it the ultimate support, I think is just incredible. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your product as well, because when I go skiing next week, I'm going for 3 weeks.
oh,
Everyone else is going to be complaining about their feet, and I'm going to be completely happy and comfortable and telling them that they should all go and get a 3D printed insole.
I love that. Perfect. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No, thank you. I appreciate your time. Have a lovely Christmas and New Year as well.
You too. And have fun skiing.
Yeah, I
Look forward
will.
to
Yeah,
your
thank
stories
you.
on Instagram.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.